Okay, this is part 5 of the Some Nights Experience video series. It's the last one, and it's over guitar and extra stuff. Okay, so months before I started on making the cover, I asked a guy that I was working with if he'd be interested in doing the guitar, and he said he would be. So I told him it was going to be a while, and then I'm pretty slow doing covers, and he said that was fine. So, months later, when I started working on the cover, I emailed him because I no longer worked with him at that point because I had left the job and he left the job. So I emailed him, being like, hey, still interested? I'm working on it. And crickets. So, before I had left the job, I talked to somebody who I'd known for years. I used to work with him. And I found out that he played guitar. I was like, all right, cool. So I just asked him. He said he was interested. I told him that I ideally, not a hard date because I don't know when I'm going to be done, but ideally I'd like it done by the end of October last year. He said that was fine. Because if, you watched the intros video, October is when I tried to just do music full time because I was in between jobs. So, So a week later, he let me know that he had been really sick, and it was really scary for him because he lost feeling in his left hand, which stinks because, you kind of need your hands as a guitarist. But he would start working on my song now, so okay. And then the first week of November was here now, and he said he'd hit a deer. His hand was still numb, but he was still trying to work on the song. I'm like, all right, well, seems like life is trying to kill you. Mid-November, I was done with the song, as done as it can be without guitar. And and he said it might be easier with the final cuts, so I exported what I had and gave it to him, and he let me know that his hand was still having numbing problems. So the end of December came, and I talked to him, and it was, by that point I had the video done for the song. And I talked to him, and it was worse than I thought. He said the numbing was still there in his left hand. It comes and goes, but the numbness had spread to other parts of his body. He was seeing a neurologist about it, and it just wasn't really going that well for him. Where am I? So at this point, I'm kind of like, I need to find somebody else, right? I mean, it's already kind of like way past when we said we were going to have this done. And he said that he would like to still try, and we agreed that I'll just give him a couple more weeks and see if he thinks he can do it or not. A few days before that conversation, my guitar friend actually offered to do the song for me if that guitarist situation ended up falling through. And, which, it's not his style of song at all. So I think he was just offering to be nice because he saw how much trouble I was having. But that was nice of him. Because on January 10th... the guitar guy said he couldn't do it. He apologized, all that jazz. And so my guitar friend took over as my new guitarist. And he said he had looked for tabs and they were lacking. And he was wondering if I had any guitar chords or tabs or anything. And I had found some tabs previously that seemed to at least agree with me in where the guitar comes in on the songs. So I don't know anything about guitar, but it seems like maybe it had some promise. So I sent him those. It seemed better than a lot of other tabs I found, which had guitar in spots that I didn't hear any guitar in. So he said he found an issue in the tabs where they want you, so in the guitar, like when it comes in, it has this like muted part, which means you just put your fingers on the strings so that it doesn't sound out like a normal guitar sound. He said that it wants you to just put your fingers on the strings without playing any notes and just strum. He said it doesn't sound like the song. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you, right? I'm not a guitarist. His next update for me was he was practicing the bends in the solo, and he got a big blister on his middle finger. And I'm like, killing my guitar guy. But he said it was fine. He could still play. I'm like, all right. Mid-January, he got me take one, and I thought it sounded pretty decent. The main thing I noticed is that it was less distorted than the real song. And he said that he made it less distorted because when he made it more distorted, it picked up, the mic picked up the guitar pick sounds a lot more, and it was loud. So I asked him for a recording of that so that I could hear it myself, because I didn't know if he was just being picky or hard on himself or whatever. I'd like to hear it myself to see what I think. So a week later, he got me take two. The distortion sounded way better, like way closer to the real song. He said before he was using his rock blues pedal, so he switched over to his metal distortion pedal. So that was good. And he was right, the pick is loud. But when I get the guitar mixed in with the rest of the song, you can't even hear it. So it worked out great. Let's see. Oh, and then one part he needed to work on still was the part that's next to the muted part. He said he couldn't figure out, there's 4 chords that are played, and he couldn't figure out if it was C, 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 like the C chord, or C, 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 D. Does it go down, or is it the same all the way across? And I listened and listened and listened, and I played on my piano to try and see if I could figure out what was going on. I failed miserably, so I was useless, but then I started looking for a bunch of covers online, guitar covers, because I don't know anything about guitar. I'm flailing here, right? And I was failing miserably at that too until I finally ran across a video where someone was actually playing the guitar like the song, because all the covers weren't playing it like the song. It's like they just didn't want to, which is fine, but it wasn't helping me. So I sent that video to him, and he listened to it, and it showed the guy playing some of the parts too, so I figured that would help him. I was like, just play it like this guy. I think it sounds pretty good myself. And so he thought that whatever that guy came up with in the video was better than what he had come up with himself. So that's a plus, but he still didn't think it was quite right. I'm like, all right, well, we're closer. You could probably just do what he does, because I thought it sounded fine. So at this point, I'm like, all right, it seems like you're being hard on yourself, because he was starting to get pretty frustrated at like just putting so much work into it and not getting the results that he wanted. I was like, all right, you're probably being hard on yourself. You should probably just get me the final take and call it good. Like, I'm probably going to think it sounds great. So that's all that matters, right? It's my cover. So February 5th, he got me take 3. I thought it was fine. I had no complaints except for what he called the fills, which is the random guitar part that you hear in the first verse. That part, he said, is just so random and messy. Like he couldn't figure out how to mimic it. It was just too random and messy, which is fine. I liked his fills playing better on take 2. So I just took take 2 for that, take 3 for the rest, and smashed them together to make the final guitar. And yeah, that's the guitar. So you can see with my second guitarist how I had lots of free time since it wasn't done when I originally wanted it to get done, right? Well, how did I use that free time? Well, there's 2 things. Part of how I use the free time is I decided let's go ahead and add in a hand clap. Well, you know, you listen to a song, they clap to the beat. I found a hand clap online that sounded almost just like the song. And I can't remember the details of why I didn't end up using it, but I had decided that I'll just do my own hand clap into a mic. How hard can it be? Everybody can clap their hands. Sounds nothing like the song. Maybe they're using a fake hand clap or a hand clap with effects or something. I don't know. But it sounds nothing like it. Whatever. It's my own hand claps. Moving on. The second thing I did was I remembered that I saw in live versions of the song that people were shaking maracas. Well, I didn't know maracas were in the song. And when they're playing, when I'm listening to the live version or watching the live version of the song, they're always playing the maraca in the non-slow parts of the song. You know, like the chorus or the verses or something like that. Which is funny because I only hear the maraca in the real song in the stars section. You know, when I see stars, that's all they are. That's the slow part of the song. So they don't really agree there. So I ended up just smashing the 2 together. I put the maraca in all the non-slow parts, and then I also put it in the stars section because that's where I actually hear it in the real song. So the only thing interesting about the maraca is I also tried to search for maraca sounds online until I went, I'll just make my own maraca. I don't have one. Make it. Here you go. You're looking at it. Here's my maraca. This is onion powder. And it likes to stick together, which is super annoying. So I put some yellow doll in here. I put way too much yellow doll in there because I didn't know how much to put in, but whatever. It's a glass bottle, and it normally has a plastic lid, but that sounded weird, so I swapped it out for a metal lid, and that was my maraca. Onion powder with doll in a glass bottle and a metal lid. It had more onion powder in it before, so it probably isn't going to sound exactly the same, but you know. Maraca. Eh? It was kind of weird. But whatever. It was my own maraca. It worked. It's fine. And yeah, that's all I got. It's the end of video 5. Hope nobody that watched it enjoyed it. Bye.